Hello, 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 and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. What a weekend we have just witnessed. Biggest game of the season so far. Liverpool and Man City ends in controversy. Tottenham fighting for fourth. Destroyed, realistically, away from home. Destroyed Aston Villa, which is unexpected. And Arsenal scraped through, and Man United scraped through. So they are the games we'll be discussing today. So, Leon, we'll start with the Liverpool game, but everyone's used to hearing me talk about our game first. Because obviously I'm going to be a bit biased. Let's have a non-Liverpool fans view first of all on how you thought the game was, because obviously I got a lot to say.
Of course you do, mate. Of course you do, as Liverpool fans normally do. Um, it was a great game of football. Two very high quality teams going at it toe to toe. It's a kind of 1-1 draw that you can say was extremely entertaining. I felt Liverpool would probably feel they should have taken all 3 points, which is kind of how City would have felt the last time that the two teams met in the league. Especially some of the chances that Liverpool have missed. Some were good saves and others weren't great. So Luis Diaz's comes to mind, and obviously Liverpool will be aggrieved about the pen that wasn't given. I think in real time, I think the referees kind of swallowed his whistle a little bit because it does look like a 50-50 ish challenge, but
He's bottled it.
Doku can't really go with his feet high in that situation, knowing that you're in the penalty box. It's very naive, and it shows it's pretty much an attacker's tackle really in the box. Because, in my opinion, Alexis is very smart. I think he knows that the challenge is coming, and he braces himself for it. And Doku basically he connects with the ball first, but he follows
He
through
doesn't.
into. It
Let
looked
me
like
ask
he
you a
connected
question.
with the ball
Yeah,
first.
there's a view he doesn't. Alexis shoulders the ball into Doku. But let me ask you a question. If that's the other way around, same box, but Alexis puts his foot into Doku's
If
chest, what
you mean
happens?
if the striker puts the foot into the
Foot
defender's
into
chest,
yep, what happens? Without fail.
I think the referee is going to give a foul because
Instantly.
because
Instantly
as I
he
said,
gives a
I think
foul.
he swallowed the whistle. I think it's a big game. It's
It's a
late
big bottle
on,
job, bro.
and as I said, he swallowed the whistle.
Because
And
I don't blame him. I don't blame him fully. Because he can miss that because he's behind the plate. He's in a good position for referee. It's the VAR that because he's basically said, I think there's been contact on the ball first.
mhm.
Obviously they've seen that,
Which is in real time, it
but
looks
it's
that
their
way.
job to say, but you know what? Have a second look because there's contact on the ball, but it's a high foot. Have a look. Come over to the side. Have a look. Let him make the decision. It's a big game. Let him make the decision. That's what I don't like about the situation, because VAR. He's basically said, you know what? I let VAR deal with it. And VAR have gone like, you know what? We can get out of this by saying it's not a massive error, and that's what they've basically done. And for me, it's a joke. But anyway, I said I had a lot to say. Let me let you continue. Because I wanted to, if I didn't answer that question there and then, I probably would have forgotten to answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think it's a pen. I think in real time, as I said, it looked close to him getting the ball, but the follow through is what connects. He doesn't look like he's trying to follow through on him, but as I said, I think the way that both players have gone for the ball, you can see when the referee swallowed his whistle. And as many people have said, if it happens in the middle of the pitch, that's a foul straight away. But because it's a big game, and you know that the same kind of fouls that are given for penalties are not always given uh, as they would be in other areas of the pitch. I think it's a higher stakes game, and the referee swallowed it, has bottled it. But that's what VAR allows referees to do now. And if there was no VAR, I wonder whether he would have still given the pen or not. He may not have, because we've seen decisions like that
Mm.
go where the referee's not given them because of the 50-50 aspect of it. But but yeah, Liverpool will definitely feel aggrieved, and I can tell that you feel aggrieved about it.
Again, yeah.
But yeah, I think realistically, Liverpool missed chances, and I think that's what ended up costing them the missed chances, especially the Diaz one. The chance that Nunes had, where he connects from a brilliant cross. I think it was Robertson,
Yeah, Robson's
where he
cross. Yeah,
connects it with his studs. There isn't really much he can do. It's a really, really good save from the keeper. He comes out and makes himself big. But with the Diaz chance, man, like if that's Salah, it's a goal, in
yeah,
my opinion. And it just fell to the wrong person because in that instance, you are looking for someone to be composed. And, he looks like he's going to do the right thing, but he just completely misconnects with the ball and it ends up sailing wide. But for the joy of the Premier League, I think the draw is the best result, and I think obviously for Liverpool they'll be very disappointed that they weren't able to extend the lead at the top. But for the entertainment value and the running now, it's really pretty much going to go down to goal difference because your guys head to head with City is a straight draw, so there's no advantage there. So it's literally going to be goal difference or goal scored or whatever. Arsenal obviously
as if it
benefited.
goes down to us two.
Yes, if it goes down to you two, yes. I think the run in for you guys is probably the probably the easiest out of the three, I would think. Arsenal's definitely got the hardest, but it's 10 games, man. It's a 10 game season now,
Mm.
all to play for. There's Man City and Arsenal still got to play each other, so there's no guarantees, and it really could go down to the wire. And I hope it does for the entertainment value of the league. That's for sure.
Fair enough. For those that didn't watch my post match, go and watch my post match because you'll probably get more information than you're going to get now because of time constraints. But I gave City credit. First 10 minutes, first 15 minutes, they had us up. Um, our defense lost at sea, but at the same time, it's understandable. They targeted a young right side. You've got a 21-year-old right back playing his sixth game or sixth start. You've got a 20-year-old centre back in the biggest game of his career, and they used it to their advantage early on, and credit to them for it. And it seemed like we got to grips with it a little bit. Then they scored, and when they scored is when we actually woke up. We woke up into the game, and we started. We weren't getting many shots on target because we had only one shot on target in the first half, but we had
Mm.
opportunities. I mean, Nunes just kept getting offside, and that was part of the problem. He still needs to learn to arc his run and the timing of his run. I think I was watching Monday Night Football today, and there was times where it's like he doesn't know his plays. At times, there was a play for the first offside goal where it's like he's expecting a ball from Harvey Elliott that he's never going to get. Harvey Elliott was always going to pass it back, and then he was going to get the next pass. And if he had waited, he's through on the wing, down the side, and it's a crossing, it's a goal.
Mate, there's
So
senior players that do make the same mistakes,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like, look,
Nunes is still youngish-ish.
exactly. Inzaghi was born offside, and he was offside until he was 36. Like, he plays on the edge, and
Mm,
you're right. You do need to know who your supply is coming from and make the right runs. And we've heard, former players say about being able to understand who's in possession of the ball and knowing to make the right run for them.
yep.
We've heard players say that before. So it's something he needs to learn. But I felt he led the line well in general. Like,
He
I
shouldn't have
think
got subbed off.
he got five off. Well, not him, but there was five offsides in the first half, but there was only
Yeah.
one in the second half. So it showed that he started to learn from the mistakes, and I felt he led the line well. I felt second half again. You dominated. The City attack didn't really have much change in the second half. There are a couple of chances,
Bruv, when have you seen
but
City do two banks of four? You
exactly,
don't see
but
that.
that's the thing. It just shows you, right, the pressure playing in Anfield, and for me, it showed that City were like, you know what, we will just do what we need to do to come out of here without losing because they know how important it is. They know it's very difficult to go to Anfield. We saw Carl Walker say he's never won there. Like
Mm,
for City to win with a crowd because they've only won there when there was no fans. It would have been a very big win for them. But
mhm.
um, it was. I think Van Dijk was superb again. McAllister, Endo. I think they've done their thing in midfield.
Yep.
Stoppers like coming back from injury. That was
No,
really
he was
important.
poor.
But he
No,
was
he was
poor. But
rubbish.
him
He was
coming back
rubbish,
from
man.
injury,
Yeah,
I
I
think
was
it will be
disappointed.
important during the running. He started off
Yeah,
the season really well, but he got injured, fell off, and he hasn't really regained that form yet. So, but you get his bodies. You need the bodies back
yeah,
because
we do.
ultimately, as I said, 10 games to go now. You need
Because he missed a big one as well.
all the
He had
big.
a free header.
Yeah,
It's all coming back. It's all
but
coming back.
he had a free
It's not his
header, but he's
forte.
not known for headering, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a good game, and I think obviously there was a big build up to it because it might be the last time that Pep and Klopp go against each other for these teams because
Yeah.
we don't think they're going to retire from football. We know that they may leave, and we don't know where they'll end
Also, it's
up,
the
but
last Premier League one,
it's the
for
last
at
one
least, and
between those
then
two
it
for
could be
sure
FA Cup
in the
semi
Prem.
final or final to come.
Exactly.
Um,
But no, I thought it did justice, and as I said, obviously you'll feel aggrieved, and City will feel that they should have won at their ground. So it's
yeah,
50-50,
I
mate.
think the only reason I feel aggrieved is because I think if that penalty decision wasn't part of the game, then I could accept we could have nicked it, but a draw is a fair result. I think that's what just tarnishes it for me. That a decision like that, I hate when they say it's because of the severity of the game, or severity is probably the wrong word, but um, the size of the game makes them not make that decision. You should be cold in that situation and say that's a penalty.
It's easier said than done, James,
It
because you got to
is,
remember,
but
like
that's why the best of the best.
you're saying it from a fan perspective, but you got to remember that the referees are the ones that have to take all of the stick if they make mistakes, and it's rare that they'll get praise when they do have a good game.
That's why they've got VAR so they can cut out that
Yeah, but
mistake.
that's the thing, right? VAR is not being used in the right way. We keep complaining about VAR, but the VAR is the video assistant referee. It's the actual person, not the tech. The tech's fine.
Mm.
The tech's fine when there's no obviously blackout issues with it. But most of the decision making has come from the video assistant referee deciding not to go with the obvious error or no obvious error. And I think it just needs to be clear when a referee says, I didn't see an incident or I saw it and I didn't think it was a foul. And I think that's where the communication needs to be clear
Is it
between.
is it too much to say if the decision is a penalty or not a penalty, the referee should always go to the monitor?
To be honest with you, I actually do think I would prefer the referee for himself to go and look at the monitor if he's made an error. I would rather that than the video assistant referee just making the decision going, it's a pen, unless it's an offside or whatever. If it's an offside, then
Mm.
fine. Don't need to go to a monitor. But where he thinks the referee's made a call, and more often than not, we've seen them go to the monitor. We've seen them go and have a look and decide, well, oh, I think I've made a mistake here. Um, but I just feel like that magnitude of game, they've just swallowed the whistle, man, big time. And yeah, they bottled it.
Mm.
Liverpool obviously already had a pen. It's like, oh, we're gonna judge this game off 2 pens. Why are you thinking about that? If it's a pen, it's a pen.
Exactly, exactly.
So it's
But
obviously a shame for you guys, but again, the league is still in your hands. Still 10 games to
yeah,
go.
listen, we win our games, and Man City and Arsenal draw. If we win our 10 games and that game's a draw, we've won the league.
Exactly,
That's what I'm hoping right now. I'm hoping in 3 weeks they draw. We've got Brighton, which is at home is usually okay, but you never know. But
bro. It doesn't matter who you're
we,
playing
yeah,
right
we have to
now.
win our ten
You
games,
guys,
and
you're
we
gonna
should win
have
the league.
to. All three of you are gonna have to win every game because that's the quality that you all have
We've all got to play you
and the
guys.
level that you. Yeah, I mean, we could have a big say, but we're going to Anfield. We don't go to Anfield
You
and
know
do
you're playing us
anything,
back to back in it. It's Man City, then you play Arsenal, then you
bro.
play
We're playing
us
all three of
back to
them.
back.
It's
And Newcastle
crazy,
as at the beginning of that as well. But
crazy
we'll segue
running.
onto your game because we've spoken enough about our game. But yeah, that running is crazy that you're going to get. But you've helped yourselves because you've eradicated the goal difference you had
Hmm.
with Aston Villa with an
Yeah,
eight
eight
goal
goal
swing.
swing. Yep.
Nil nil first half. Um, what was said? Obviously, you don't know what was said, but what do you think was the message at second half
Well, we could
or
see.
half
I
time?
mean,
Sorry.
from the outset, we pressed high on Aston Villa, and I think they paid the price for changing their formation. I think teams had seen what I think teams had looked at what other teams have been able to do to stop us from creating numerous chances in the games, and a lot of teams have now gone free at the back against us, and we've often struggled to open them up until quite late on. But in this instance, I think it was a change of system for Villa, not one they're used to playing. And that kind of played into our hands a little bit because we were able to put more pressure because they didn't have as many bodies in midfield. And,
Mm,
we literally went two at the back against their two strikers. And because Romero and Van der Ven were just on fire, like Romero stopped doing foolishness for the most part. He's making better decisions. Van der Ven's got the pace. We obviously lost him to injury, but
again,
it was
hamstring. Yeah.
it was after he got injured that we actually went in and scored. And it's brilliant, winning the ball in midfield, getting the ball out to Sarr, and Sarr's, putting a fantastic cross for Madison to score. He hadn't scored in quite a few months, so it was good for him to get off the score sheet. And as often with Tottenham, when we've scored one goal, we've literally hit back and scored quite soon after, and that's something that we've pretty much done all season. And for us to get that second goal kind of killed them off, and you could see, what John McGinn did was probably frustration because Villa as I said, they kind of played into our hands a little bit, and I think they were more concerned about us rather than playing their own game. And we saw what they did when they came to our place. They were quite good on the counter attack, and I was surprised they didn't really play counter attacking football. With the three midfielders they had, they didn't have any real width, and because of our fullbacks love to go forward,
Mm.
their wing backs were pinned back the whole game pretty much, so they weren't able to cause the problems that Aston Villa have been able to cause other teams in the league. So really, really impressed with the team getting that. It's a big game for us. We needed to win in order to put pressure on them for the top four spot. We've seen Son getting a score sheet, Brennan Johnson getting a score sheet. Good finish by him. He's come up for a lot of stick this season, but there's times where you can see he shows flashes of what he's capable of, and if he just
Mm.
has that, he was a lot more direct yesterday, and I felt that was something that he needs to do more because you can see when he has players on the back foot what kind of problems he can cause. And then Werner coming off the bench and scoring a goal as well after getting his first goal last week, he's got another one. So it bodes well for the run-in. It's going to be tough because we've still got Chelsea, Newcastle, as you said, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool all to play. So that's five tougher
Mm.
games, and then obviously we've got other matches against some of the teams who are battling for relegation as well. I don't really think we're playing any real mid-table ish teams, so it's literally title challenges and Europe plus the relegation battlers. So yeah, good win. I'll take it. A clean sheet, which is not something we've been able to say very often this season. And yeah, hopefully the Van der Ven injury is not too severe. It looks like it came off as a precaution um, after making a couple of last ditch slide tackles. But Dragusin came on and done well, and
I was going to say
hopefully,
it's a good signing in January. Really, very
yeah.
very
I
important
mean,
potentially.
we've seen, Eric Dyer got a lot of stick because he's not a great one-on-one defender, but he's obviously doing quite well at Bayern at the moment. But we needed someone who can defend one-on-one, and we know that Dragusin is up for that kind of battle. He likes man marking, he likes playing physical. So he's just obviously got to be careful because it's the Premier League, and people can be quite clever, but he's played in Italy, man. They know about the dark arts, so
Yeah,
I think he'll fit in well. And I'm hoping that now that we've got a lot of our players back, we're able to put in a good run in and cause a few problems to the top three in those big games that we have.
who's your man in the match?
For me, it was between has to be Son really, leading the line again. He got two assists and a goal.
Yeah.
Always involved. He has a really good record against Villa. So for me, definitely Son. Um, and honourable mentions probably go to Brennan Johnson and the back two dealing with making literally giving Bailey and Watkins nothing all game. So I'll
The
take it.
doggy seemed to get quite high ratings when I was looking at the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's weird when him and Poro are both playing. I feel
Mm.
like they almost it's like where you have Trent and Robertson. Like if one of them's not there, it's not quite the same. When they're both
Mm.
there, they just because they're both so good at going forward and playing in that inverted attacking fullback role. It works hand in hand. When one of them's not there, the other one kind of suffers a little bit. But nah, I think just having that full squad back really really important, and hopefully, as I said, we can continue this in going into the end of the season and get top
Yeah,
four.
because credit to Udoji, he misplaced one pass the whole game. So that's for someone so young and adventurous. That was quite impressive. But Vicario seems to have dealt with the corners a bit better recently. I've noticed. So that's a positive.
Definitely, one thing with Vicario, he talked a good
Got
game when
kicked
he
in the head,
came.
didn't it?
Yeah, he talks a good game when he first arrived. He said all the right things, but he's continued that. He's every time he's been tested in certain areas, if he's not played or if he's made a mistake or he's not played so well, especially dealing with corners, I think there was a couple of games where we were like, you need to get a man to protect him. Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
Following that, every team was like, okay, we're just going to put a man on him because he can't deal with it. But since then, he's found a way to deal with it. He seems like the type to really try to challenge himself to be the best that he can be, and I think we've got a gem with him. To be honest with you,
Okay. We'll move on to Arsenal. 2-1 win against Brentford, and obviously the big elephant in the room. The winning goal comes from. I don't think there's any question about it. The winning goal comes from someone who shouldn't have been on the pitch. Agree? Disagree?
I agree in terms of obviously he should have been sent off. I think after the dive, but again, this is the referee swallowing a whistle. We've seen
Mm.
players dive. Most,
It's
mo-
true. It's true. It's
we've
true.
seen
You're right.
players dive. I think
Salah's got away
Basuma
with it.
is the only one that didn't get away with it. He dived,
Mm.
I think, twice. Did he not?
But his one was more blatant as well, though.
Yeah, I
Basuma's one. He
know.
was like
I know.
in the middle of the pitch, no one around him. The goal.
Stupid.
I don't think the referee could actually see. Um, what do you call this
Whether it
one?
was he
Yeah,
saw it
but the
well enough for
linesman
him to
should have seen
know
it.
that it wasn't a foul though. He
Yeah,
didn't give a
true.
foul, so it wasn't
But it
like,
could be a soft contact. Sometimes maybe if he was enough contact to give a
bro, you
foul.
can't give soft contact the way that man fell over. You can't
Yeah,
call
for
soft
real,
contact, bro, because that was mad. The way
for
he
real.
went down was mad. But yeah, fortune favors the better teams, man. That's how it works sometimes in this league and in football. I think it was a deserved win for Arsenal. I
It
think
was. It was. It
let's
was a
be
deserved
honest,
win.
in the balance of play, they deserve to win the game. Aaron Ramsdale got out of jail after his blunder, not clearing his lines early enough, and I think he would have been um, a little bit nervous knowing that he was coming. But realistically, he knows he's number two now. Like there's no doubt. So for me, he had to come in that game and just be like, I've just got to do the best I can, and you know, try not to do anything silly. And
But he's not going
he
to be
didn't
able
really do
to.
anything silly. He just
Yeah,
dwelled on the ball that little bit too long. And, that's kind of why he's been replaced because they
yeah.
knew that Raya was better with his feet. And, we've seen proof in the pudding because he's literally taken too long, got closed down, and Wissa
Credit
has blocked
credit
it.
to him. There was one throw out that literally went straight to a one on one, and well, it should have been, but Roseslave got back in, and
Hmm.
I was like, wow, he's been watching Allison because he literally got the ball, looked up, and he just threw it, and I don't think it landed in his half. it landed in the opposition half by the time it touched the ground. But I can't remember who the attacker was, but they obviously weren't quick enough. It might have been
Mm,
Trossard. They
mm,
weren't quick enough to get away. The rest of get in. But credit to Havertz, although he should have been on the pitch, it's just another game where he's played well. Another game where he's been important and where he stepped up for his team. And that's for the money he was bought for the complaints they were getting, he's starting to prove people wrong in that regards. I always say people love to judge people really early, and yes, he's been in the Premier League, and he's been in London, so should he get? He should possibly get. Shouldn't be cut as much slack, but yeah, he should. It's a new club, new system. He's still relatively young as well, so let's just credit to him. It's a
yeah.
really good 2024 so far, and long may it not continue because obviously, as long as it continues, they're rivaling us. But I just don't see it stopping. It seems like he's getting confidence full every game, game
Well,
by game.
the one thing with Arsenal, and this is why I felt like it would be a good signing, is when we know that that Havertz was capable of scoring goals,
Mm,
especially making those runs from midfield into the box. That's what he did at Leverkusen, and when at times he did it in Chelsea, but Chelsea's system was a little bit more rigid. It wasn't as fluid as Arsenal's. Arsenal's attackers, they're everywhere. Saka for the most part is going to be on the right hand side, and when
mm,
Martinelli is there, he's by and large going to be on the left hand side, and sometimes he'll make a dart in run in behind the defensive line. But when you've got Trossard and Havertz up there as well, it gives them a little bit more fluidity because neither of them will just stay on the left hand side or the other side, but they'll float into that false nine position and operate. And you've seen even Odegaard, because of the fact that they've now got Declan Rice and Jorginho, who's can pull strings. Odegaard can now push forward and get more involved in the attacks where earlier in the season he had to kind of play a little bit deeper and it kind of affected his game. But now, Arsenal in full flow. Um, you know, Brentford didn't really offer too much going forward. The most you thought they would be able to score was from a set piece or throw in. But again, Arsenal proving their quality with it was a brilliant header. It wasn't a difficult chance for Havertz, but we've seen people miss those kind of chances. But he's taken it. It was a good header, and obviously Rice opening and scoring as well. I think it's two games in a row for him. He scored now. So yeah, they're in full flow. It wasn't a goal glut, but Brentford are not that type of team. They don't just lay down and get battered.
at this stage of the season, it doesn't really have to be. You just have to keep winning. And Arsenal should be expected to be smashing teams 4 or 5-0 every week. And these are the kind of games that win you titles. And
Yeah,
that's why it's annoying that they're winning them. But these are the type of games where you have to grind it out. You're not playing at your best, or the other team's being really stubborn, and the chances just aren't going your way. Because arguably, they should have had 2 penalties. I think Trossard had a good claim being dragged down. So that could have made a big difference to them as well. But yeah, it's a good win for them, and they have
very
to keep
good
it
win,
rolling. And they sit on top of the table.
bro.
That's all
It's
you can ask
crazy
for. That's all you can
because
ask
you
for.
think right full season everyone's like, need a number nine, need a number nine. They had two number nines on the bench,
Yeah,
and Jesus
they
is
top goal
playing
scorers in the league.
sideman right now. He's coming on as a sideman
Mm.
right now. So he's basically been reduced to the role he had at City, where he comes and plays if one of their main guys get injured, and it just shows that you know Arteta feels like he trusts Trossard and Havertz more. If Martinelli's out, he
Mm.
trusts those guys to do a job, and they've proved that they can do a job because they've done it in the big games and in games where they really needed a goal. So fair play, fair play, man. It's going to be such an interesting end to the
Well, I said
season.
the next game is a big one for them after the international break. They've got a long time off again because they're not in the FA Cup, so they've got this week off, and then they've got international break, so they've got time to prepare for Man City, and
Boy, this
hopefully it's a
international break has come at the
yeah.
worst time. Where this is, there'll be, I
Well,
don't know,
hopefully it's coming at a good time because it means Arsenal may get a dip,
maybe
and we and it
maybe
could
in
be
terms
good
of
for us because we
maybe in
need we
terms
need
of the
players
break,
back.
But I was gonna
Bringing
say,
players back.
if I was certain managers, I'll be like, the players have got a knocks, mate. They ain't going.
Well, I think we've managed to get Egypt to back down and not take Salah.
You can't be taking Salah, man. What they need him
They
for?
got a new manager in it. They got a new manager. He wanted his first squad
Is it
together,
friendly
and he
or is
wanted to
it
bring.
African qualifiers?
It's like a friendly tournament. They're doing like a
Nah,
friendly
bruv.
tournament in Dubai or somewhere
Stay at
like
your
that.
yard. He just come back from injury,
So
mate. Not risking it.
exactly, so it's good. It's good for us. But last game wasn't much to talk about in this game because it was quite wasn't great entertainment. But Man United beat Everton 2-0, two penalties, two very poor defensive decisions from Tarkowski and from it was Godfrey. Yeah, Tarkowski and Godfrey. But credit, I mean, Man United have been crying out for someone to step up, and it's been Garnacho. Garnacho has been good for quite a few number of weeks now, and he doesn't seem phased, doesn't seem worried. He gets knocked down, he gets back up. He misses an opportunity, he gets right back out, and he's even started tracking back. So he's listening to what's being said. So credit to him. I mean, it's another interesting system because they played Fernandez as a false nine again, with Tommy as a number 10. I mean, if someone had said to you beginning of the season, Man United are going to have Fernandez as a false nine and Tommy as a number 10, you'd be thinking if they just got a novice as a manager to just playing some random football manager or something.
Well,
But it's getting the
Fernandez.
results.
Fernandez
Well,
is the
this game.
captain. Well,
Mm,
Fernandez is a captain. He can't rely on certain other players to play in that
yeah.
role just because they don't like playing there. He's willing to go in there and do a job, and because of his quality, when he gets the ball, if they can get supply to him, and he can, get on a half turn and play a through ball for Rashford or for Garnacho, I think it works. The McTominay number 10 role is kind of, I wouldn't quite say it's a number 10 role. He's just playing in that I guess he's got the freedom because you've got Casemiro who doesn't necessarily have the legs anymore to do that kind of running, and Kobe Mainu who's right now
Still young.
just he's playing that link in midfield. He's very good in possession, but McTominay's got goals this season, and Man United have struggled to get goals, so they've found a way to get him in the side because of injury to Haaland. But yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but they got a win, and that's all they really care about. Everton again creating a whole load of chances to score and not taking them, and I think they'll be very disappointed. Well, Sean Dyche will be very disappointed with the both of the tackles that caused the penalties
Yep.
because they were pretty naive. Garnacho was very clever in how he ensured he got himself in the box to put the defenders on the back foot, but
Mm,
you don't. Those are two tackles that you don't need to make because he's literally, especially the second one, he's running into a, a brick wall of players. Really,
yeah.
he doesn't really have anywhere to go, and you stick a leg out, he's taking them out. So for me, it's obviously good for Man United that they put pressure on Villa and Tottenham, but um, I think for Everton, I think they'll be very disappointed that they weren't able to. I think without those two challenges, they might have been able to get a draw out of that game.
Yeah, Man United faced 23 shots on their goal. Once again, I, I think it's in double figures the amount of
Hmm.
times they've they've conceded plus 20 shots. They've conceded more shots on their goal than any team in the Premier League.
There you
It's
go.
actually it's actually quite alarming. And in terms of passes, accuracies, and all that other kind of stuff during the game, shots on target, there wasn't much in it. Yes, the expected goals was high for Man United. But that's because there were two penalties.
Well, two
So
penalties is
Everton
going to
with a
be
1.61. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. They're
Penalty
like seven
is a straight what
0.79.
0.8 for a pen,
0.79.
0.79 for a
Yeah,
pen. Okay,
yeah,
there you
for
go.
for Rashford's penalty. And but for 1.61, Everton I think at one point they had the highest XG for big chances missed in terms of it's just crazy.
Well, they
But I
probably
think
have that
Dyche
for the
said,
season because they've missed some
yeah,
sitters, man.
they have. Dyche said that sometimes these players just need to be calmer and sometimes they just need to be a bit more brave. That you're gonna get hurt. Just obviously he's gonna say that he was a tough guy kind of defender, but sometimes you have to go where it hurts to get a goal. They're fighting for relegation right now, and they've really got to pull their finger out if they're going to stay in this league because they've still got a possibility of more points than deducted, which could drop them lower down the league. So
Yep.
wasn't a good performance from them, but at the same time, it's what you expect. Man United should be winning these kind of games, and they did. But other than that, there's not much more I can say about the game. Um, Performances wise, Garnacho was good, um, and Onana was really good in that game. He's slowly starting to prove that he's not just a clown of a goalkeeper that he was showing earlier on in his tenure here. It just takes a bit of time, and I guess Varane and Evans are a good partnership, and they're both experienced, so it probably helps him as a goalkeeper having those two in front of him.
Evans
But
has
yeah,
actually been probably
yeah,
their most key defender this season because everyone he's played with, he's made them look better.
hmm.
You know,
He-
he's obviously shown his age, but he reads the
yeah,
game really well. He's good with both feet. He doesn't often make too many mistakes, and you know you can tell he's a communicator at the back, as I said, because no matter who he's played with, they've looked better with him in the side, and when he's not been there, they've looked terrible at the back. So yeah, fair play to Evans, and yeah, another win for United. So again, it's going to be an interesting end to the season. See who can finish strongest.
yeah. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also catch our other shows when we do our post match reactions. You can also find us on Spotify as well. So take care. See you later, Leon.
Take it easy.